What are you up to? Thief! Guard! Where? What's happening?
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you... Ugh. He was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great. He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the Revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the Revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a Revenant's power.
I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's.
But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a Revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily. So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
What if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how would I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a Revenant's bones.
But there is no Revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
All right, I'll sell them to you.
Splendid.
Since it's you...
You won't convince me with that. Revenant bones. They'll be very useful indeed. Bye-bye.
What are you loitering here for? God be with you. I've no time for this. What are you up to here? Get out of here, or I'll call the guards.
Though you'd be better off going
Yeah.
What do you hear?
Sure.
Goodbye.
What do you want?
Go. Shit as you say. Please, try and find me.
noise?
Let it bake a bit, and you'll be able to feed the whole family with fresh bread.
Lamb. And I'll need lots of it if I'm to switch it all. Chickens. That should be no problem.
What do you want? Bye.
Flour, eggs, salt, yeast. Let it bake a bit, and you'll be able to feed the whole family with fresh bread.
No chickens for sure. Just lamb now.
remedies.
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well,
Well,
pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a... This they did, but anguished their body...
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some...
It is the rest,
What on earth for?
so I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know...
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grow. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them? What's the recipe?
Pay close attention. How once there was a knight. He fell in love with a fragile young... But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous. This they did, but anguished at their body... Yeah. Wine squeezed from grapes, cultivated from a rose.
You? What do you want from...
You look a bit worried, Bailiff.
How can I not be? What with the whole village... Ghosts? An empty grave that they say are...
You don't think there's any truth to it?
No, it's not.
But how come the grave is empty?
You don't need any...
But why would anyone do that?
A God-fearing Christian.
So you suspect someone?
Could be. They weren't making any trouble.
How do you know it was them?
Who else would it be?
What about the Revenant?
Oh, don't you start.
Supposing I help you get...
You look like you know.
You bet I can. It wouldn't be wise to fool with me.
I don't doubt it, but I don't want any bloodshed in my parish.
Don't worry, Master Bailiff.
Then I'll gladly accept your...
Who are these people?
Just some itinerants who...
What are they doing here?
Damned if I know.
Are they armed?
As much as any thief.
Where can I find them?
Last I heard, they were a bit away from the village.
That's all I need to know.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Jesus, what have you been up to?
Matthew, I need a hand with something.
What is it, Henry?
I need to scare a few locals.
Well, gladly. Whatever the reason. I'm bored here anyway. And you always had our backs. After all, you got us a job. A shitty one, admittedly. But still, you sorted out that little misunderstanding in Sassa for us.
Great. Thanks, lads.
So, what exactly do you have in mind?
I want people to believe there's an evil force at large. I'm sure I can leave the details to you.
Rely on it, Henry. Good luck, then.
Hey,
Hey, Fritz.
depends. I ain't working in no mill again.
No, this is much more suited to your skills.
What? You need some faces pummeled?
No, not quite. Just to put the fear of God in a few villagers.
I can do that too. Well, you did get us a job, even if it is shit. Well, you fixed things after that brawl in Sasau. How could I refuse to help you with a thing like that? But you ought to ask Matthew too. He's the clever one.
I'll do that.
See you later.
Well, I never.
Hey,
Hey, what are you doing here? Clear off.
who are you?
What do you want?
The bailiff sent me after you.
Oh, yeah? I'm shit.
Well, you better take a good look. I'm supposed to get
What's the problem?
someone hereabouts.
Sure, my...
Don't play the innocent lad.
No. And I...
Well, maybe you ought to.
Oh, yeah?
Because I can offer you a job.
Doing what? Don't expect us to break our backs for a few...
Perish the thought.
Well, I never.
No, it's something more suited to your,
Frighten...
the Ledechko. Aye.
And how do you want...
A bit of fire would be...
Aye.
How do you know that?
One of us is from...
I see.
You better...
How much do you want?
Well, it won't be cheap.
Here you are.
Fine. We're agreed.
Just make sure no one sees you.
Don't worry. They always turn us a blind eye anyway.
What do you want from...
Come close.
Jesus, what? Here I am, bailiff.
So, how...
I talked to those itineraries.
Well, those... Goodbye.
All the way from the Holy Land.
Right there. What? Show yourself. Stop waving that way. Or I'll go into the door. You hear me? Put it away. Do something! My God, over there! Over there! God's sake, there! Over there! Do something! Over there! Do something! Oh my God! Over there! Do something! My God! Over there!
Over there!
For God's sake, there! Over there! For God's sake, there! Over there!
Well, what do you want?
So, how am I doing so far?
Henry, a corpse was found.
What? Where?
Here in Ledechko. The whole village is in a flap over it.
Well, what happened?
One of the locals was killed.
I see. Does anyone know who did it?
No one saw or heard a thing. People are terrified. They think it's the work of the Revenant.
Well, that's convenient, though, isn't it?
It is, but it certainly doesn't give me any joy. I hope you didn't have anything to do with it.
Of course not. What do you take me for?
I don't know whether to believe you or not.
Come on. Do you take me for some cutthroat? My own parents were killed, and I wouldn't wish that loss on anyone.
Of course. Sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you.
That's all right. So all the villagers are frightened?
They certainly are.
So, the job is done, eh?
Not quite.
But you just said the whole village is shaking with fear.
The whole village, but for one individual.
Well, surely that doesn't matter.
That's what I thought too. Only this fellow is giving everyone the benefit of his wisdom. He needs shaking up before he undoes your good work.
But if he's not been scared yet, what more can I do to frighten him?
Well, when he's not hanging around here ruining my trade, he's in the tavern boasting that he'd happily sleep by that empty grave to prove there's no Revenant.
Yeah, I bet he would.
Exactly. He just needs a little persuasion. And once he's there, make it the most terrifying night of his life.
Well, what are we waiting for then?
It's best to be well prepared. You ought to find out something about him, so there's no surprises.
The gossip woman?
Naturally. And Henry, before we get to that grave, you can still try and come up with more ways to frighten the villagers. The more terrified they are, the more groschen there'll be in it for me. For us, that is. Sure.
Make it quick, though. I don't care.
Good wife.
You're still here, lad? I thought you'd have...
Fled?
Because there's a revenant on the...
Ah, that.
You mean...
Well, I don't know what his name is, but he's always arguing in the...
That's him. The fool doesn't believe what's going on.
Is he brave or just stupid? Surely he's a...
I couldn't tell you.
And do you believe him?
Well, it's true he never...
What pair?
Two mates.
But he was alone in the...
Aye, they're not locals, but outside...
He even said he'd spend...
Aye.
Who are these two?
They're not bad lads.
How's that?
Them two have their...
What are they afraid?
The first one wouldn't even go...
Ah.
He got lost in the forest as a young lad, and he wasn't...
A village boy? Scared of the woods?
You're not very smart, are you?
Why'd you say that?
Oh, never mind.
What about the other one?
He's afraid of fire.
Why?
His own father burned him, God forgive him. As a young lad, he was playing with fire and nearly set fire to the house. So his...
Poor lad. That's a terrible way to teach him.
My words.
Ah, it's been an interest...
of cloth. Oh!
So?
I already told you, Henry.
I know.
Well, everyone is talking about how
What, does this look like the hand of evil?
no one in Ledechko would eat a single egg.
Well, at least they've got fuel for their fire.
The baths are closed. No one... Some folk saw flames of hellfire flickering around the village at night. Great! Half the village is without rosaries. Someone even wanted to buy one from me.
And did you sell it?
I don't trade in such banal goods.
I didn't know a cat's paw.
Henry. Oh, then there was a couple of... You've got to teach me that, Henry.
Well, that wasn't me. I only raised the dead. Good. The more frightened they are, the better. Maybe then you'll sell lots of remedies, and maybe you'll share some of the profits with your loyal apprentice.
Maybe.
So, how am I doing so far?
I already told you, Henry. Everyone is scared out of their wits.
I know. I was just wondering if anything had changed.
I haven't heard anything new.
Uh-huh. All right. This brave fella, Felix his name is, if we can get him to spend the night at the grave...
Like he's a... So, if we could get him...
maybe not.
That's... Only, we have to get rid of the other two. What do you know about them?
One of them is afraid of wild animals. Won't even go into the woods on his own.
I see. And the other one?
Well, he's afraid of fire, but I doubt an ordinary campfire would do the trick.
Well, we'll think of something. Anyway, you take care of the first one.
How, though?
Haven't you learned anything from me?
Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
The most frightening one.
And how am I supposed to recognise him?
By his bark, naturally.
That's a dog.
Either that or...
All right.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, great idea. People will think I'm barking.
Bye-bye.
Come on then. Bark. What a beast you are. All right, let's see. Ruff. Ruff. Again. Boo. 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 Yeah. Boo. 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 And now I'm officially the village idiot.
Wine squeezed from grapes. So, how did you get on?
I found that mutt.
So you've learned...
I have, master.
So bark.
Bark? I'll give you bark.
Easy, easy. Down, boy.
But what if it's not enough?
Ah, ye of little faith. Besides, can you think of any other way?
If we want to have him there on his own, I could always knock the other two out.
And what if he finds them unconscious?
I can always haul them off somewhere he won't find them.
Just make sure you don't botch it, Henry. It could easily turn very sour.
Don't worry. But what about the other fella?
Ah, yes, apprentice. You have the good fortune to witness a genius at work. Watch and learn. An oil lamp.
An oil lamp?
Precisely. Isn't it ingenious?
A marvellous invention, I grant you. But what do you want to do with it?
That's the clever part. I've hung a lamp like this over the Revenant's grave. All you have to do is shoot it down. It'll fall on the grave and burst into flames.
Well, that could work. Only
what?
how can you be sure I'll manage to shoot it down?
I believe in you, Henry. You're my...
Right.
Anyway, you can practice. The lamp is already hanging up.
Aye. I'll give it a go.
Then you just have to goad our Felix into putting it...
But what if he doesn't fall for it?
Refusing would ruin his credibility. Go and see him.
All right.
Good. Don't delay, though. Practice with the lamp first, if you like,